Hey guys, Victor Jones Spotlight. We're here with director Will Bakke from the movie The Get Together. Producer. How's it going, man?
Doing well, man. How are you?
Uh, Enjoying my day. It's a Friday, little dreary outside, but the air conditioning is feeling pretty good.
That's awesome, man.
Awesome. So I have to ask. I saw the movie. It's fantastic, man. You directed it really good. What kind of research did you do for the movie?
Man, a lot of it was based on just, personal experience. So, a lot of it's pretty anecdotal. But the movie's broken into three chapters, and it kind of takes place over the course of someone's 20s. So, in each chapter, while the whole, movie takes place at one house party, you're looking at it through the vantage point of three characters that are at different, periods of their 20s. So the first chapter is all about a girl who's, just moved to Austin and is in her early 20s, doesn't really know anybody. And that's, an event that I can relate to. And the second chapter is about a couple that's really trying to decide whether this is the right time to get married, whether they're with the right person or whether they should pursue a career. And the final chapter is about sort of a failing musician who's looking back on his 20s, trying to decide, did I make all the right choices?
Oh, that hit hard right there because I've gone to a lot of house parties for many years in Austin, San Antonio, and the Rio Grande Valley, and in that Texan culture, you have that where you're in grade with your friends, you leave for a while, and then you come back, and it's a big change. They're like, look at you like you missed out on that. You missed out on that. So how can we, instead of making it feel so awkward, how can we make it cool again or good? And you touched a lot of base on that with those various stories, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's there's kind of a funny part in the movie where the girl who's in a relationship comes back to town and she sees her friends and kind of reunites with them. And one of the guys is like, dude, where have you been? Like, we haven't seen you at parties in a while. And she's like, I moved like 2 years ago. And Austin's such a transient town that kind of feels like it happens all the time. Like, you see people and then they kind of go away for a while and they come back, and everyone's still at the same parties hanging out. And so I think there was a lot of like moments like that were just true to life and came out really well in the film.
Awesome. You did an amazing job there, man, because just watching it, I was like, is he telling my story from years ago? It's just the various cultures mixed into it, and I thought that was fantastic, man. Great job, dude.
Thank you, man. What chapter did you relate to, or what character did you relate to most? Now I'm interviewing you.
I'm on the spotlight now. Most likely with Betsy in that part, just because she went away to New York and she brought somebody back with her that didn't fit in really well, and with Damien, and she was trying to mingle like with her past roommate, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you missed out on that. You missed out on that." And she's talking to people, and they're like, "Oh, remember you used to do this? Remember you used to do that?" And so separating from that, from Damien trying to relive her earlier years, that reminded me when I moved to San Antonio, uh, went to back home, and people were just like, "Oh, you want to go to South Padre? Oh, you missed out that big rager, man." And watching it, I was like, dude.
I'm glad, man. That's funny. Yeah, I'm glad you related to somebody.
Oh yeah, and oh my bad.
No, go ahead.
Oh, speaking of relating to somebody, I want to know, did you have a favorite character in the movie? And I have to know, was it Lucas?
Lucas steals the show, man. That's actually played by our producer, and he's a fantastic actor, Chad Werner. And yeah, Lucas is just so fun and lovable that I really do believe he kind of steals the show. As far as like character I relate to the most, there's something about staying in a town for your entire 20s and seeing people kind of come and go that makes you wonder whether you should be one of those people kind of coming and going, or pursuing a different career. And so the last chapter with Caleb, the musician, I think is probably where I put the most like heart into the movie and into that character. And yeah, but I mean, all the others, there's a little bit, of me inside of it. And I think one of the actors that just stood out the most in the movie was Courtney Parchman, who plays August. It's the first chapter. And she is one of the funniest people I've ever met. And she does a fantastic job bringing that character to life, and all the awkward moments of being in a space where you don't know anybody and trying to fit in. She did a great job.
Oh, yes, she did. Like the characters in the movie was just played by the actors. They made it to another level. They put so much power, so much emotional strength into their character. So when you're watching, you could feel their anger, you could feel their happiness, the sadness, all through that emotional turmoil in that party. And that was unique and fun loving. Man, I digged it.
Awesome, man. I'm glad you liked it.
So I know I had that experience for that movie. What kind of experience do you want fans to have when they first watch the get together?
Yeah, well, the movie is coming out at a really interesting time because people haven't been together, and it's been a long time since people have probably gone to parties. And so, for me, I really want, when we made this movie, there was already a nostalgic feeling for just the length of our 20s, and I'm 32 now, so I started writing it at 25. I directed it at 30. It's just now coming out, and there was a sense of nostalgia then for that time period. And now there's like a brand new sense of nostalgia, just having gone through the pandemic, where we really want people just to remember what it's like to be together and to be with friends, and not to take that for granted, and really, pour into community, and and just not take it for granted.
That's great to hear. I forgot about the pandemic situation, because when you're first watching it, you're just like, you're loving them having fun. You're loving how they are interacting and their stories diverge, and it was just smooth sailing throughout the whole movie. Like, you just couldn't keep your eyes off it.
Thanks so much, man.
No problem. And lastly, I was wondering, where can our fans find you on social media to keep more updates with you?
Yeah, you can find us at Get Together Film on Instagram, and my Instagram is just Will_Bakke, if you can, remember the last name. But just keep up with us on social media. And all the actors have their own Instagram handles, but yeah, you'll find us. Just look for the Get Together Film.
Awesome. Will, thank you so much for taking the time for this interview, and thank you so much for directing this awesome movie and bringing it out there, because it's not only nostalgia for us fans out there and lived in our 20s through that, but I feel it's maybe like what you said with the pandemic, maybe this is the door opening for people to come back in, like, oh, this is how to party. This is the stories what I got to do. This is what I'm missing.
Yeah.
So thank you on that, man.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. And thank you for
having me. All right, guys,
me.
Vic from Drop Spotlight. We'll see you at the cons.